Morning Express, it is on this 13th day of July 2016. It's now 20 minutes after 8 local time, and it's time for us to look at your health. Today we're looking at alternative medicine, and just a reminder that our phone lines are open in case you have any questions for our panelists who I'm going to introduce shortly. Feel free to call, and we'd be more than happy to hear from you. And let me start with introducing the panel, and to my immediate left is Dr. Seningo, who is a naturopath doctor or specialist.
Yes.
Specialist is the right word. All right. Welcome and good to have you.
Asante sana.
We also have Dr. Maina Mwea, who is a medical herbalist and also an acupuncture and homeopathy expert. Good to have you. Some huge terms right there. But let's start first of all with just demystifying alternative medicine. And maybe let me start with you, Dr. Seningo. What exactly is alternative medicine?
Well, alternative medicine is typified to be the other side of orthodox medicine, or alternative to conventional medicine. So to speak, it would be, it's a wide term used all over the world to denote or to describe other ways of treating ailments or diseases other than pharmaceuticals, conventional medicine. That's it, alternative to conventional medicine.
Okay, I'll come back to you. And Dr. Maina Mwea, when you talk about being a herbalist, it means you specialize on, again, it's a form of alternative medicine.
Well, first I would like to comment on this one, alternative. It's rather misleading, because you see, when you talk of an alternative, you are thinking of something which is not the real thing. But
alternative just means a different.
Yeah, but you see, what it is really, if you look at conventional medicine, alternative medicine, the question is, which one came first and which one is an alternative to the other one? Because before 18th century, all medicine around was actually traditional. It's actually conventional medicine which was developed in the 18th century. So it's either a question like the case of the hen and the egg, which one came first?
The chicken and the egg. So from where you're seated, you're saying that what we call conventional medicine today is probably the alternative medicine.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Given time.
Yeah,
okay.
But now, when I say I'm a herbalist myself, you see, herbalist actually is one branch of traditional medicine, because traditional medicine is very wide. They are herbalists, they are traditional surgeons, you know, like circumcisers and ear piercers. They are spiritualists, they are diviners, and all that. So it's just one branch of the traditional medicine. Then you have got, like my dear friend here, naturopath. These are actually systems which developed later on in the course of the practice of medicine, and that's why people like to refer them as alternative. But then there's alternative or complementary, to complement the other one. These terms are used very loosely.
Okay.
But basically what I mean is, when I'm a herbalist, I specialize in that system of medicine which actually use plant materials as the tools of the trade. I say plant in bracket because we also use a little bit of the animal products, you know, like blood, like milk, you know, like honey, you know, which are also little part of the, you know.
Okay, and they're natural. All right, Dr. Seningo, what is a naturopath?
A naturopath would be a practitioner that would treat you using various items. For example, they can use water, hydrotherapy. They could use herbal medicines. They could use enzymes. We use light. Spectrums of light like far infrared, ultraviolet rays, and they are electromedicine, which is using electricity as well, and very effective in all kinds of chronic conditions. So naturopaths all over the world, depending on their line of study, end up using various sections of a wider scale of healing processes. So right now in my line I use far infrared, or call them light therapies. I use herbal medicines, I use enzymes quite a bit, but the baseline is lifestyle, making sure that our patients understand lifestyle and not just having the notion that to heal diseases is all about medicine. So our very backbone of treatment is introducing the patient and teaching the patient. So a naturopath is more of a teacher than a doctor, to teach them how to improve their lifestyles to be able to overcome the so-called incurable or chronic conditions, which actually recede and reverse.
Okay. And just a quick reminder that you are welcome to call, and possibly you may have questions regarding a particular ailment, a chronic disease, or you'd just like to let us know or contribute towards the conversation. The numbers are now showing on your screen. Dr. Maina, one of the reasons why a medical herbalist or a naturopath or alternative medicine, be as it may, whatever we call it, seem to be at loggerheads with the conventional doctors is the issue of proof and scientific proof, so to speak.
Yeah.
What basis do you use as your analysis to have, a way of gauging that this actually works? And it's not try and error.
Yes, before I answer the question directly, I want to refer you to the World Health Organization definition of who are traditional medicine men and why it's accepted internationally. Because according to the World Health Organization, any medicine, traditional medicine, which has been used by a certain community for more than 30 years, it indicates that that product must be safe. Otherwise, they will not be using it. It also indicates that there's no community in the world which is mad to use a product for 30, 40 years without reaping any benefit. For that, then it can be assumed that it is effective. So, really, the question of proof here is, this is a product which has been used for thousands and thousands of years by the people. And you can say that a trial of millions, or clinical trial of millions of people over thousands of years, it can't be compared to a trial in Kenyatta Hospital where they have 100 patients, for 16 days, for 2 months. That's a much bigger trial.
The issue here would be that with what you're quoting as Kenyatta Hospital, what we'd call conventional medicine, is that it's scientifically proven. There is a system, it is documented. Whereas when it comes to the herbal medicine, what we are using is just purely history.
It's not history, because we have got a lot of evidence. We use it every day and it has been used and it's effective. You see, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If a product is being used and is curing diseases, you see, the question is, if you know this product, this thing work, are you going to wait for scientific proof to give it to somebody who is dying, or are you going to, give the patient and then wait for so-called scientific proof to come? Because what is the proof? It is efficacy. Has it worked? Do you wait for that theoretical evidence or whatever, or clinical, to say this has worked? Do you give because you know it to work, and then find out how does it work?
Okay. And before he shoots another one, which seems to be putting us on a defense here, I don't think we're in the defense.
No, you're not. I just want to
Mike,
make sure that we fully understand what it's all about.
Okay, I want you to understand one thing, that in medicine, it's not just about healing people. There's a lot of medical politics as well. And there's a lot of negative energy from one source to typify others to be like they are not working out, but we are the politically correct. And this is worldwide. We're not talking about Kenya alone. We're talking about a worldwide thing. So conventional medicine since 1950s, call it 1930s, I believe, started an onslaught on alternative medicine, or what you call today alternative medicine or traditional medicine, in a bid to be able to make huge amounts of money, and it has succeeded. Okay, and of course riding upon science, and it doesn't mean that alternative medicine is not riding upon science. There's a lot of science and good science on alternative medicines, in homeopathy, in herbalism, in naturopathy, in many other dockets. Even in simple massage, Mike, can heal so many conditions. But it's been looked upon as just something else for leisure or for sexual gratification or stuff like that. But in other words, what I'm trying to say is conventional medicine has created a little bit of a bias and a prejudice in the wider circle of aware people who are relying on audiovisual communication. But 60%, and in fact probably 80%, according to World Health Organization, people are using natural means to heal the diseases, basically. And so who is huge here?
Just to add on that, there is a lot of, as you say, politics. The big pharma. You see, the products we use are natural products, so they are not patentable, meaning there's no money in it. You cannot patent Mwarubaine, the name tree, because actually it's community knowledge. They know that, and we are actually eating into their profits. So the idea is to spread malicious rumor about this particular medicine, because they wouldn't want to get into it. At one time, the Americans even tried to patent the name tree, and there was worldwide uproar about it. So they see that they can't make money as long as this branch of science, because it's not a question about that they care for people. It's just a matter of now in the ugly side of capitalism. Because you and me know that, for example, you go to Kisumu, they have a plant called Olioreching. They've always used it for bleeding, nose bleeding, right? You can't patent it because there's no inventive step in it. It's community knowledge. So they would want to kill that one and then maybe develop something alongside it and promote it. That's basically what it is.
So it's purely...
And for example, that herb that is just talked about it, if you go scientifically, the very main thing that works, that makes it work, we understand what it is. It's highly rich in vitamin K, which is the one that helps you to stop bleeding right there. But then you have patented vitamin K, it's in tablet form or in vials, sold in chemists, and you know, someone who's out there being told by the media and everybody else that this is the only vitamin K that can work in nice wrapped little papers and little glasses, but the other herb that is in the forest and can be harvested in the right way, and it is organic, it has no side effects, it's not synthetic, it's not isolated such that it is unstable, it is in the natural form, which works.
Dr. Maina, maybe we should have had a doctor here who would also now defend conventional medicine. But coming back to you, and of course I go back to the scientific end of it. He's mentioned that scientifically you know what works and how it works. Is there documented material that you can use now as a doctor? When I come to you and I say I'm suffering from X, how do you determine what to use when and how and what dosage?
You see, the principles of medicine are understood, not just through the scientific method. From time immemorial, man has always looked for something to cure himself. And over a period of time, they were able to know this one works. For example, take malaria. The first medicine to be used, even conventional medicine, was from this plant called the Peruvian bark. And that's where quinine was developed. And it was used all the years until now. They started now finding out what is now, can you purify this thing, get the new active ingredient instead of using the whole plant, because maybe it's cumbersome. If you take penicillin, for example, it's from a plant, Penicillium mold. Take what you are using today, artemisinin, for malaria. That plant, the Chinese have been singing about it for thousands of years, Artemisia annua, that it is actually good for malaria. The same plant in Kikuyu land is actually called Mataria, and we have always used it for malaria. So there is no new science here. This is things which have always been known.
Let me answer him on the point, what you actually want to hear. The mode of pharmaceutical or the scientific way of measuring, you cannot necessarily ride upon the same horse on alternative medicine. I'll tell you why. When you take artemisinin, or Artemisia, the plant that has the active ingredient artemisinin, that now the pharmaceutical companies have isolated that molecule to make the tablets that kill malaria. Now, when you isolate it, it becomes synthetic and unstable. And it is not equated together with all other antioxidants that are present in the same plant. And so therefore, when you take it on an overdose, it will have a serious effect on the processes of breaking down through your anatomy, the liver, the pancreas, and all that. But when you take it in the natural form, the artemisinin is not injurious. Let's note this. It is not injurious when you ingest a little more than when you took more tablets which are synthetically already prepared. But when you take it in its natural form, it is an organic form. It has a lot of vitamin A, vitamin E, and so many other antioxidants that are present in there that help and work out as a food. And they excite your immune system to work out in a way. And so therefore the body recognizes that herb as a food item and at the same time as a medicinal item, then helps out to solve up your problem. But when you take the artemisinin isolated molecule, it is injurious, so therefore you have to take in a certain dose. And so therefore I have had this question so many times.
Put it in another way.
Yeah.
Take vitamin A. If you take about 6 capsules of vitamin A, you get a problem, vitaminosis.
Definitely.
If you eat a whole bag of carrots, a whole guinea of carrots, you will not have any problem. Because the vitamin A in carrots, it's not vitamin A per se. It's a prodrug, it's a beta-carotene, which is one step just behind. And the body takes it, when you take it, it's actually converted into vitamin A. So the body will only convert what it requires. Mm-hmm. Again, those things he's talking about, the so-called, which have been thrown out, the inert materials, they have a lot to play. They have a modulating effect on the performance, this other one. So it's not the same. That's why that natural medicine is much better. It's sweetened to the creature because actually part of the environment.
I want us to come to practical, possibly diseases that can be cured through homeopathy or natural means.
Yes.
But before we go there, how then do you qualify? Yes. And I'm still going back to somehow documenting and having a formal way of having this done. How then do you document or qualify a doctor who can now treat you using natural medicine, given possibly they have acquired their knowledge through time? And I mean, both of you, from the way you speak, definitely there's a lot of education that has gone into it and a lot of science that is behind it. But how then do you qualify?
Okay, before I give my colleague time to answer that one. One, it is very true, all over the world, there's a challenge when it comes to organization of alternative medicine practitioners, engaging them according to knowledge acquisition. It is a challenge in India, it is a challenge in Kenya, it is a challenge in America, anywhere. Why? We are trying to equate the same thing with conventional medicine, which has had more than 100 years trying to gauge and organize themselves, and of course with the help of articulate bills and laws in various governments, they have been able to streamline their line in a proper way. Mm-hmm. This other way is not that it's okay, I would say these haphazard ways of organizing. And in another sense, because of the fact that it is so wide, control is really a problem. I agree that there is a problem. But notwithstanding the fact that there is a problem there, it does not mean that it is injurious. It may have various aspects. I agree. There are certain areas that you have to watch. There's certain things that it may not be able to do. Just like any other, even on the other side, there are flaws here and there. But it does not mean that science is not in there. Number two, when it comes to how do we prove the efficacy of this plant, there's so much, and there's so much science in alternative medicine. There are so many scientists that have published many papers and written so much about the ingredients and what is present in which plant, and so many of them have been documented and papers published. And so therefore, it's just that a lot of people do not go that direction to find out if they're
what
there.
it has done.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, what I always say, if you are a scientist, if you are critical of anything, you don't condemn it. You should try and prove or validate it. For example, I want to give you an example. I went to India. I came a plant they call Gudma, which they were saying was good for diabetes. And I took interest in it. Mm-hmm. I came to the University of Nairobi and actually enrolled to do a master's, degree course on that plant to try and analyze and validate whether what they say is true. Which I did, and that plant, I was shocked. It is available all over the country, in Imbondo, in Abukos Forest, in all the Simba Hills. And I did a lot of work, 2 years, and I got my, doctorate on it. Now, there are so many other people like me who have done this type of research. You can go to any university here, any university, they have stacks and stacks of research on all these plants. Go to Cambridge, everybody. So there is a lot of science in it to validate this. So we have no fear because we know we are using very well evidence-based medicine. Call it traditional. But I want you to understand, God has never abandoned his people. At any particular time, he has always given knowledge to certain people to help others. So this is how this knowledge came about. And even biblically, if you read, it's written, say, Hezekiah 46 says, the plants will grow, they use the fruits for their food and the leaves for their medicine. That is in Ezekiel 46:12. So these things have always been there from time immemorial.
Okay. All right. Let me come now to practical curative measures. And I'll start with you, Dr. Seningo. What are some of the diseases or chronic diseases that possibly you can say are healed, or I'm not sure if the healed is the right word, or at least overcome?
Yeah, don't fear using that word. It's okay to use
healed. Is fine?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
Or reversed.
Or reversed, yes. What are some of the diseases reversed or healed by homeopathy or natural?
Naturopathy, okay. Let me say chronic conditions. For a very long time, people are told cause unknown, cause unknown, blood pressure, cause unknown, diabetes, cause unknown, cancer, cause unknown. Nonsense. It's not true. It's known what is causing these diseases. So as a naturopath, I would go to the bottom line and take away the causes. There are various. There are so many. I've talked about those causes here on KTN and many other media houses before. And all these causes, if you understand where they are, take them out in that person's lifestyle. And then bring in the medicines that are appropriate for that particular condition. You can prove to even the patients what they are and basically tell them how they work and administer whatever it is and clean up the body, and that disease is gone, whether it's cancer or say, for example, infertility. It's very common now. There's a lot of infertility, both of male and female, and either secondary or primary infertility. And all these diseases, if you are able to make the patient understand this, and which we try and teach them and understand why they are in that particular state, then it is possible to cure that disease, whether it's cancer, whether it's arthritis, whether it is asthma, whether
Are you saying, Dr.
Yes.
Seningo, that you can, through natural means, cure cancer?
I have brought a patient in KTN who had prostate cancer at one time. And I'm sure he's done so many of them as well. It is possible. And you do not have to go necessarily through very, very hazardous and terrible treatments that injure your immune system and die.
Dr. Maina.
Optimum health is harmony between the physical, the mental, the emotional,
And the
and spiritual. Conventional medicine have a tendency just to address the physical.
And the symptoms.
You see, for example, why would, say, a pregnant woman hear some distressing news and she miscarriage? You see now, that is the emotional aspect actually now affecting the physical. For example, have you ever wondered why 90% of rape cases end up with pregnancy? Why? This person has been moving also with other people, many of them, no pregnancy. The moment she is raped, that psychological shock, emotional shock, would trigger premature ovulation. That's why you find 90%. Why? Because the mental aspect, the emotional aspect is affecting the physical. So we don't just look at just the physical. That's why I'm coming to what you're saying. What are the causes? Some of these causes could be emotional disturbances. Some of them could be mental disturbances. Some of them could be spiritual. Because even when you're not properly aligned with your creator, there are problems. You get a lot of tensions, whatever, right? So we address this thing. Our system, we look at the body, the patient holistically, not just pneumonia. You see, this thing called germ theory is very defective. I think the high time we have to look at it.
Which one? Traffic jam?
The germ. germs and germs, you know.
Oh, germs, as in
Bacteria and
bacteria and all
microbes.
that.
Saningo here goes to Mombasa with his wife. They sleep in the same bed. Then in the morning, Saningo is sick with malaria. She's not sick. You cannot just blame the mosquito. You cannot just blame the mosquito because she was also exposed to it. You know why? She was also the one in the same bed, in the same room.
Maybe Lishiba and Saningo, you know.
Oh, you see. Oh, for example, you take me and you. We share. Or maybe me and my wife. We are sharing the same bed. She has got pneumonia. I don't have pneumonia. So if it was a germs really, then I should also be having pneumonia.
All right, Dr. Maina, let me pause you a little bit and come to Dr. Saningo. This is all too much to take in. Let's talk about cancer, because that's currently it's a huge,
it's a big thing.
It's a big thing in Kenya.
Yeah.
And of course, the alternative that many people are seeking now is to go to India for treatment. But you're saying you know the cause. What's the cause for cancer?
Mike, carcinogens are all over. One, we're having dioxins coming from the plastic industry. People are cooking with plastic, tucking juala on their chakula so that they create
To keep it warm or to whatever.
to use the steam to cook. And once you subject these cheap plastics 70 degrees centigrade, they produce what you call dioxins. When you freeze the water bottles that you have, when you freeze them below zero on freezers, they produce dioxins. When you leave them in your car and they're above 70 degrees, then they've got water, they produce dioxins, and you drink this water. That's one. There are trans fatty acids that you will find today in the cheap processed vegetable oils. We are running away from cholesterol and running straight into trans fatty acids, which are also cancer causing. There's a lot of chlorine everywhere you think about, in your shower, in the waters that people are taking, and stuff like that. There's so much sugar being taken everywhere, left, right, and center. In the soft drinks that people are taking, there's so much that is robbing the immune system. There's so many prescription drugs that are people taking left, right, and center today. Most people don't go and see a doctor. They go straight into a chemist and prescribe for themselves.
Let me take a call
Let me finish. And once you see all this carcinogenic stuff coming into your system and you're not eating properly, you're not eating a balanced diet, and you're eating more and more toxins and more foods that have high antibiotics, let's say meats. Cows are being pumped in with a lot of antibiotics. These antibiotics, we cannot cook them out. You're eating them through the meats and the chickens and all that. And your body is so much packed with so much antibiotics that when you take the normal antibiotics, they don't work on you because you have all that.
Let me pause you, Dr. Saningo, because that's a lot. Let me take a call from Rhoda in Meru before we wind up. Rhoda in Meru, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go right ahead.
First of all, thank you very much for this insightful show.
Okay, thank you.
And, okay, you're welcome. My problem is that I have been battling with psoriasis for the last 7 years.
Sorry, you have?
Been battling with psoriasis. Psoriasis
Okay,
is a skin condition.
Uh-huh.
And for the last 7 years, during this period, I've been using the topical ointment, which is steroids. And currently, at the moment, it's like these ointments are no longer working.
Okay.
If I use them, they lead to more flare up.
Okay.
And like now, I'm using the cooking pure olive oil, but I don't see any significant change.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, could you please assist me with these natural methods that I can sort of take care of my psoriasis?
All right, thank you, Rhoda.
It's actually affecting my lifestyle. I can't raise I want to dress. I have to cover it up every time. I'll appreciate any type of work that you can do.
All right, thank you, Rhoda in Meru. And Dr. Saningo, you seem to understand what she's talking about.
Psoriasis is a disease of the skin, but it starts from inside. And sometimes they have an itchy sensation inside the ears, right in between the fingers and the very soft centers, and basically it's a very chronic condition. It can be reversed. It's a difficult condition, but it is possible to reverse it, particularly working out from the liver point. And if the patient can be able to come, we take the history, we will be able to help this person. And I'm sure my colleague and I have various products that they can use, but not, I insist particularly that it's not just about medicine. You have to correct this person's lifestyle, because she's using creams, it's topical. From the inside, whatever parasites that are in there causing this, nothing is taking care of that.
Okay, Dr. Maina, we are winding up because of time.
The problem really is not on the skin.
It's
actually
internal.
internal.
It's internal.
Yes.
So using manifested, externally. So really, this treatment need to be looked at, from inside. Applying this cream will not help anything, basically. So if she can come to us, and we get the history, because it's manifested in different ways. So it's not a question over the phone. You need to take proper history, and the medical history of this person, lifestyle and all that, so that then you can be able to handle it effectively.
Dr. Maina, is there anything that natural medicine cannot reverse or cure? You see, with cancer, they tell us that, there is no cure, you can only manage it over a period of time. Is there anything that natural medicine cannot cure?
I don't think there is, because you see, if you say that you cannot cure it, it's because you don't know. A medical system is a system of referrals. If you can do it, then you refer to the person who can do it. But essentially, remember, the disease, what is a disease? Basically, what you call this disease, is actually a turmoil. The body is out of ease, as I told you, in the 4 spheres. And if you understand the patient, that's why we need a thorough, diagnosis, a thorough actually, consultation of the patient to understand. Because in our field, it's not like conventional medicine, where one size fits all. Anybody with a headache, paracetamol. No, we look at the person holistically. 2 people will come with the same problem, but we don't give them the same thing because of the way they pose themselves, their constitution, how they are wired up, so to say. Because how you are wired up or constituted determines how you relate to the environment.
And you see,
it determines also how the environment impacts on you.
Okay.
And therefore it determines what type of diseases you are much more prone to. And for us clinicians then, it will give us information on then what type of medicine will be more suitable for a person of that constitution.
Dr. Seningo, you wanted to add on that?
Yes, such questions are the ones that throw alternative medicine into prejudice. Because there are many diseases that are not able to be healed in
Conventional medicine, yes, there are.
So many. Is it that they're not able to pin it down? I don't think so. The question is, let's place everything in its place. If it's emergency medicine, for example, somebody comes with a heart attack, right there, what do you need to do? Is there a herb I can give? Probably there is a herb that I have not discovered and he has discovered or somebody else has discovered. And that's why he was saying, there's somebody probably who knows a little bit more about this and can deal with it. And referrals are there as well in alternative medicine. But I tend to think it's better if there's a complementary way of working out. If there was no prejudice, then the customer, the client would not suffer. Say you have a heart attack, go for emergency medicine, but the heart has not been sorted out. You've just had a bypass, but you've not sorted out your atherosclerosis. Go to alternative medicine and deal with it. Deal with the blood pressure and the rest of it.
All right. Because of time, there's somebody here who's asking, and as we're winding up, maybe I'll get your closing comments as well.
Yes.
There's somebody who's asking, is marijuana a natural herb?
I knew that.
Yes, it is.
That had to come.
Let's not be biased. A plant is a plant.
However, it's good to note that
if
it's
you want
illegal
to
in
misuse
Kenya.
any plant, or for example, even say colors, if you take a home bag, it will of course harm you. Marijuana or cannabis sativa, as it's called, scientifically, actually has got its own therapeutic properties. You go even to the internet, go to the books. For example, in India, it's very well documented. In Britain, they have farms, a farm of 4,000 acres. In US, they have a farm. Because, let me put it this way, take like opium, for example. The drugs you use in the hospital, for example, when women are giving birth, Peridine for pain, they are from opium.
Opium.
Morphine, which is given as a painkiller, and
To cancer
codeine,
patients.
they are from opium plant. The problem is there is the other side of it, which is not good. But you cannot condemn that plant holistically because it has got its medical use if it is used through the right channels such that it is not misused. And not just that, many others.
All right. We'll have to call it a day right there, Dr. Saningo. I think we'll have to have another session where we can now literally look at some of the diseases like the lady who called,
Yes.
just to see what alternatives or what prescription you would have in that regard. But maybe just for somebody who'd be interested in knowing how to find you, where they can get you.
Pretty easy. Facebook, Dr. Saningo. Email, drsaningo@gmail.com.
Okay.
My telephone number is 0722 770604.
Okay, maybe a quick repeat of the number.
0722 770604.
Dr. Maina, how can we reach you?
Yes, my main clinic is in Haringa, just 200 meters from Nairobi Main Hospital. It's Dr. Maina Herbal Clinic. And you can reach us either through the Facebook, through WhatsApp. You go to the web, Dr. Maina Herbal, you log as Dr. Maina Herbal Clinic.
It will come up.
Yeah, it will come up there.
Okay.
My telephone number is 0722 82 7199. If you can't get that one, you have 0722 577 578.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Saningo, natural path expert. We also have Dr. Maina Mwea, who's a medical herbalist and also an acupuncture and homeopathy.
And a pharmacist also.
Pharmacist. Natural medicine pharmacists. And I can see that question on marijuana is still coming up, but I'll leave it at that. We'll give them another chance to come in and do that. But yeah, do keep it right here on KTN News. Coming up next is World View. And well, thank you very much for joining us. Do stay with us right here and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
KTN News. Get the whole story.